took my guys' list and put it together for here, and I'm like, that's not a list of something else.
What's going on, guys? This is Nathan the Script Cat welcoming you to our next live duel here on the channel. Today's feature match is between Steven and Easton. We've got Predaplant Therion taking on Tenyi Swordsoul. We're going to go ahead and jump right into today's match. Before we do, I want to say thank you guys so much for checking out today's video, guys. If you do enjoy it, make sure to leave a like at the end of the video. But before we start, let's go ahead and drop a comment down below of a prediction of who you think is going to win. And let's get into today's duel. Alright, let's see who wins the dice roll here. Looks like Steven is going to win the dice roll here. And he is going to go ahead and choose to go first, try and set up a board. He is playing Therion, so he can get that negate up on that field pretty easily with the Therion Regulus. It just depends on what he all has in his hand. Alright, I'm seeing a few cards here that I can actually make out here. We got a Pot of Extravagance. That looks like the field spell for the Therion. A Lily, Celestial, and I can't tell what the last card is right now. But let's see what he's going to start off. Looks like he's going to start off with that Pot of Extravagance. In my honest opinion, when it comes down to Pot of Extravagance, I like doing that after I've already done my play. Use the cards in my hand that I need to, or in the extra deck, before banishing, because he is going to banish 6 right here to draw 2, or at least attempt to draw 2 on resolution of the Pot of Extravagance. And you never want to banish what you're going to be using later on. So let's go ahead, we're going to see if that resolves. Looks like he does not have the Ash, or either he does not have it, or he's going to let it go through, one of the two. So we are going to draw 2 off that Pot of Extravagance here. We'll have to see what he draws. Looks like he's going to activate the Therion Disc Coliseum. That'll add a Therion monster to hand, but it is going to be met with an Ash. So he did have the Ash in the hand, he just allowed that Pot of Extravagance to go through. So Therion Disc Coliseum is going to be shut down there, so that is unfortunate for Steven. We're going to have to see if he can play through that. That was only one hand trap, one negate, so hopefully he can play through that, and he didn't actually need that one Therion monster he was going to add. I'm guessing it was going to be the Regulus. But let's see what he's going to be doing next here. Alright, looks like we're going to be seeing an activation of the Fusion Destiny. Now, Fusion Destiny is going to be dumping 2. Oh, it looks like he's only going to be dumping 1 from the deck because he had that Celestial in hand. So we'll have to dump that Dasher to the grave to special summon the DPE, get that on the field. That will shut down the rest of his plays, though, for the rest of the turn, pretty much, depending on what he's going to be trying to do. So we'll have to see what he has planned, because I don't think that's going to be able to stand up to Tenyi Swordsoul. He'll probably just get rid of that, or make it use its effect at the very beginning. But let's see what's going on here. Oh, looks like he actually banished his DPE, or he got it banished off of the top 6. So that was actually an illegal play there, so we have to rewind a little bit. We'll take that Dasher, toss it back into the deck, take the Celestial, and put that back in the hand with that the Fusion Destiny. So that's unfortunate. He doesn't have that DPE, but at the same time, it could be a blessing in disguise because it doesn't lock him out. So we're going to have to see what happens if he can't do that. Ooh. Okay, looks like we're just going to see a set 1 monster, set 1 back row, and pass for turn. So it looks like he did in that Therion, the Disc Coliseum. Alright, jumping into Easton's turn here, we are going to see a special summon of the Ashina, linking right away into that Monk of the Tenyi. We're going to see a Vessel of the Dragon Cycle. I actually haven't seen this card used in any of the duels that we've done so far here on the channel, so that's going to be fun to see. So that's going to be sending 1 worm if it goes through. It'll send 1 worm to add a Tenyi monster to hand with a different name than the one sent. So depending on what he sends here, she doesn't even have to send a Tenyi to the grave, so that's pretty nice. It just has to send a worm. So he can send anything that's a worm from his deck to the grave, and then be able to add any Tenyi he wants. So let's see what he's going to be sending here. So he is sending the Adhar to the grave to add the Fishuda to hand. So he did send another Tenyi. He was just able to add the one that he wanted. And it also helps that you can always banish those Tenyis from the grave to get their effects later on, so it doesn't actually end up in a minus from sending them from the deck to grave. And it helps with deck thinning too. So let's see here. He does have the normal monster with that Monk of the Tenyi on the field, so we can special summon that Vishuddha to the field. We're going to see a banish of the Ashina to summon 1 from the deck. Summoning a second Adhara to the field. So we've got 2 out of the deck now, so we're doing lots of deck thinning here. That was very unfortunate with the fact that of the 6 that he banished. Okay, so we're going to see a Adhara banished to add the Ashina. But yeah, it was unfortunate to see that DP get banished off the Extravagance. That's why a lot of people played the... Either they play the Extravagance and they don't plan on using the extra deck, or they play the Prosperity if they plan on doing this, they can banish what they want. So we're going to see a Synchro Summon here into the Bexia to spin the 2 set cards. We're going to see a Chained Imperm negating its effect. That will also negate the second effect of it, which is the target itself and target one in the grave, destroy itself, and then special summon the other one. So that effect is also negated, so that's kind of having a double-sided edged sword go right into Easton here. We are seeing a Pot of Desires now, though, so we're going to banish 10 off this. We're going to see if any of the cards that Steven drew earlier was an Ash. Oh. He actually didn't even need to do that, because if you remember, if we backtrack a little bit, that Imperm that just hit the Baxia was actually in that column. So he banished the 10 for cost, but it's still negated because it's in the column with the Imperm. So that is very unfortunate. He didn't even need to try and negate that. It was already negated, just per happenstance of the fact that it was in the same column as that Imperm. So we're going to see a banish of that Fuda here. Kind of a sucky way to lose that Pot of Desires. I would have rather gotten Ash than make that kind of mistake, but that will send that set monster back to the hand, and we're going to see an attack for 1,000 down to 7,000 for Steven. Always have to remember where that Imperm was, and play things where it might not be. You never know. Looks like we're seeing a draw here going into Steven's next turn. We're going to have a draw of the Lone Fire Blossom. I see that in his hand. We're going to see a normal summon of that Lone Fire Blossom, activating the effect of Lone Fire. That'll tribute itself off, especially in another plant from the deck. So it all just depends on which one he wants to add here. Or summon, I should say. Looks like he's settling on the Scorpion. So Scorpion will be summoned, Predaplant Scorpion. So on summon of that Predaplant Scorpion, it does have an effect where you can discard 1 monster from your hand. So if you have anything in your hand you don't want anymore, maybe that... what he's got in his hand here. We have... let's see. So Scorpion effect. We'll discard a monster, special summon another Predaplant from the deck. So let's see here. He's discarding the Bipolyps, I believe is how you pronounce that one. All these Predaplants have crazy names that you can never really pronounce. So we're going to see what he summons here off of that Predaplant Scorpion. I know the usual play that you go off of, we'll have to see if he goes that route for it. Alright, so he's going to special that Cobra. So Cobra's effect on summon will add either a Polymerization or a card that has fusion in the name. So that can add Super Poly, that can add a Destiny Fusion, or Fusion Destiny, but he already has that, so he doesn't need that. So we'll have to see what kind of card he wants to add with that Cobra. Oh, I guess, actually, so we're going to be Chainlink 1 would be the Cobra on summon. Chainlink 2 would be the Bilyps. So Bilyps also has an effect because it was sent to the graveyard. That will be able to add a Predaplant monster from the deck to the hand as well. So we'll add a monster as well as either a Polymerization or a card that says Fusion in the name. So he's going to add a Predaplant. I want to say the name there is going to be a Bufoliculia. Don't quote me on that. Don't also crucify me in the comment section because that is not nice. Oh, he didn't add that. What did he add instead? Hold up. Maybe that was what he added. Okay. Okay, so he added the Bufoliculia as well as the Branded Fusion. He's going to activate that Bufoliculia. So Bufoliculia's effect has a pendulum effect that's going to be fusioning with both cards on the field. So he doesn't need a poly or anything like that. He can just fusion summon with them by the Bufoliculia's effect. Summoning out the Ambulomelides. Ambulomelides, that's what I'm going to call it. And its effect on summon is going to add one from the deck, I believe. Oh, okay, never mind. We're going to go back. We're going to try and figure out what we're going to be summoning here. Alright, let's see here. He's going to be fusion summoning here into the Ambulomelides.
His effect to add one.
That will add the Triantis to hand.
Activate Lilia's effect in hand.
Alright, so we're going to see an activation of the Therion Lily effect. So that's going to special itself and equip I believe it's just a plant. I think that's all it has to be, is a plant or a Therion. So you can attach that Bilips there right to it. I believe Bilips is once per turn though, so I don't think he gets that effect again if it gets sent to the grave. We'll have to see what he does next here. He will need to get rid of that back row as well as that backseat if he wants to do anything this turn. Luckily, he was able to stop the backseat last turn, but if he doesn't get rid of it this turn, he will be able to activate that next time. So you'll see what he does here. Alright, looks like we're going to see the Ambu's effect here. So Ambu's effect is going to send one plant monster he controls to the grave. So the Bilips as well as the Lily will go to the grave. That way he can activate the effect to special summon a Predaplant monster from the deck. So we'll send the Lily as well as the Bilips to the grave because it's equipped to it. But like I said, I believe the Bilips is once per turn, so you won't be able to add another one. And we're going to be summoning a Predaplant from the deck. So if you feel like siding D-Barrier against Predaplants, I think you're going to be doing pretty good. As long as Therion Regulus isn't on the field. Because it'll shut down the entire engine. The branded engine that he added, because he added that branded fusion. As well as stopping those fusions from the Predaplants. Let's see what he's going to summon here. He is going to summon the Predaplant Chlamydiosundu, I believe is how you pronounce that one. So its effect is he can activate to fusion summon with monsters he controls, I believe is what the accurate effect is. So he is going to be fusion summoning here. Let's see what he goes into. Going first with this deck, I feel like could be pretty good. Setting up a couple things. Going second, trying to break through the board, I'm not entirely sure. We are going to see a synchro summon of the... what's that? Predaplant Dracostophilia. We're going to see an activation of the branded fusion as well, so he'll be able to fusion summon by sending monsters from the grave or from the deck to the grave. So he'll dump that Dasher, since he already had Celestial. So he's going to send the... oh, never mind, not the Dasher, the Albaz, and then the Snow. So he's going to be summoning the Albion. Dark summons Lubellion, Light summons Albion. So there's a summon of the Albion. Albion's effect will activate on summon, which will banish the Albaz as well as a... I think that's the Anbu. So we got a Dark there, so that would go into the Lubellion, I believe. And again, this is where playing that X-Trap can really hurt you, because if you banish those Mirror Jades, or anything else you might be wanting to go into, the Masquerade, anything like that, if you banish all those, you could be in for a world of hurt. So we will have to see exactly what we can get into here. So there's a summon of the Lubellion. Now on summon, a Lubellion's effect will activate, discarding the Celestial from hand, since you can't use that that play anyway with Fusion Destiny. So might as well just get rid of that, get that to the grave. So he'll discard that to shuffle back in. Looks like he's going to be doing a Predaplant play instead of going for a Mirror Jade or anything like that. I probably would have gone for a Mirror Jade, just because you could banish that Baxia. But the Dracostophilia is also good because you can put counters on things, which will lower their level. And with a deck like Swordsoul, where they're trying to synchro summon, having those Predaplant counters on things will negate their effects first off, as well as lowering their level so they can't synchro things off. So that could actually work in his favor there. But it all depends on what's set face down in Easton's back row. I don't believe you can actually do a Chimera here. He's going to have to backtrack a second there. Chimera does require at least one monster from field and one monster from hand. He's trying to go from the graveyard, I believe. So unfortunately, that is not going to work. Usually you're going to be summoning that with branded in red anyway, and not through the Lubellion effect. So it's understandable that he might have misunderstood that. So let's see what he's going to go into instead. Alright, so he's going to go into a second Dracostophilia so that he can do double negate next turn, lowering down any kind of materials, maybe the tokens, maybe a Moye. That way he can't synchro into whatever he would like to. So that could put a world of hurt on things for next turn. Alright, so we are going to see an enter a battle phase here. And Albion is going to attack over the monk. So Albion is 25, I believe, over the monk, which is 1000. Ooh, but on attack declaration, we are going to see an activation of Blackout. So that's going to target the Monk of the Tenyi as well as both of his Dracostophilias to destroy all three. So that's going to put everything in a little pause moment there. So because monsters left the field, we do have a redeclaration of attack if you would like. But I believe Baxia's defense is actually larger than the Albion's attack, so we can't get over that Baxia anyway, and the Lubellion can't activate or can't attack this turn because it activated its effect. So usually you want to return it back with its own effect, or else it's just sitting there anyway. You could also fusion it away, maybe into a Masquerade if you're playing like a full Despia package or something like that. Alright, we are just going to see a pass for turn here. We do see Ash Blossom in hand, so that can come into effect later on, I believe. We will have to see.
My main use Baxia's effect, target itself and Hara engrave to...
Alright, so we are seeing an activation of Baxia's effect that will target itself as well as the Adhara. That'll pop the Baxia and then special the Adhara, and then Baxia's effect will go off because it was destroyed.
How many do you have in hand? 3. Luna Chain Snow.
Alright, so we are seeing a chain of the snow here. He'll have to banish 7 for cost to special summon that snow. That could flip something face down depending on what comes out, so we'll have to see.
7 to Book of Moon.
He did get to banish that Fusion Destiny though, because that thing was dead anyway, so we'll have to see what happens next. Alright, so we are going to see that summon of the Adhara with the Baxia pop, and then after that is when the snow will resolve to Book of Moon, something on eastern side of the field.
Okay, yeah.
So Adhara will come out, Baxia is gone, new chains, snow will Book of Moon that Adhara, and then Baxia's effect because it was destroyed.
Sure.
Oh. Never mind, maybe there wasn't an effect, or maybe I was completely wrong. I could have been talking all sorts wrong. We're just going to see a special of the Fishuda going right into the Monk of the Tenyi. I might have been wrong. I'll have to double check that. If I was, I apologize. Alright, so we're going to see a special of the Ashina here because of the Monk of the Tenyi is on the field. While he's doing that, I am going to double check and make sure I understood this effect. No, so he doesn't have a destruction effect. Okay, I was mistaken. Don't quote me on that one. Learning all their effects. I think it's the Yazi that has the effect. So we're going to have to see what he goes into here. He still has to deal with the Albion as well as the Lubellion. And then that snow did put a little stop to his play. We'll have to see here. We're going to see a normal summon of the Ash Blossom. That's new. Synchro summoning into the Chang Ying. We're going to have to count some banished cards here.
15. I got 12.
15 and 12. So that's going to be a plus of 2,700 attack for the Chang Ying.
27.
and minus 2,700 attack for all of Steven's monsters. And both of them are actually below that 2,700 mark, so both of them are actually at 0, unfortunately for him. So no matter what, that could be some pretty bad stuff there. Let's see what we got going on next here. He's going to banish the Ashina. That will special summon a Tenyi from the deck. And also add a 100 attack onto the Chengying, so he's now at 5,800. Steven's monster is still at 0 attack. Nothing changes there. So we'll have to see which one he specials here. He's been going through a lot of his Tenyis, so I'm wondering what he all has left inside the deck. Summoning a Statana from the deck. Alright, so Chengying's effect is going to trigger here because one was banished. That will target one on the field and one in the graveyard to banish. Banishing the Albion and what? The Celestial, it looks like. So we can't use that effect later on to draw. That will boost him up, banishing 2 more, so he's up to 6,000 now. I probably would have kept the Albion on the field. I understand that he banished it for a reason, so he didn't get the effect in the end phase because it was sent to the grave. But if you banish something like the Snow instead, he still gets up to 6,000. And then you have the Monk to attack into the other, the Lubellion, which is also at 0. The Monk for 7, and that is actually game. That's exactly game right there. But we are just going to see, I believe, a battle phase here. So he's at 6,000 to the Lubellion 0. He could have gone for game. I just don't think he might have had the numbers correct. That would have been exactly 7,000, which is where he was at in the first place because of the first attack off that Monk. We're going to see 6,000 damage there, down to 1,000 life points. But he still has that Snow on the field, which the Monk cannot attack over, I don't believe. I'm not actually sure. Let me take a look and see what Snow's defense is. Is 1,000. Okay. And Chengying only takes away attack? Is that correct? Alright, so we are going to see a pass turn there. He could have gone for game, but we'll see a pass turn on to Steven here. We'll have to see what he can do. He only has 1 card in hand, so we'll have to see what he actually drew, which I don't know if it's going to be enough. We're going to see an activation of the Brand Open, which he can't do, though, because he only has that 1 card in hand. He has nothing else that he can discard to get to the Aliber. So, that isn't good. Alright, we are going to see a concede here for game 1. So, Easton did take game 1 here. He could have taken it last turn, but nonetheless, he did get it done. So let's go ahead. We are going to shuffle up, side out some cards, probably, and then jump into game 2, so stay tuned. Alright, it looks like we are all sided up, ready to go for game 2 here. Hopefully this one is going to end it a little bit better. It does look like Steven is choosing to go first again. Hopefully he can set up some negates with the Dracostophilia or something along those lines. Does look like he has a Snow in his hand again, so he drew into that Snow. So we will have to see what he does here. Alright, looks like we are going to see Steven start off by summoning a Predaplant Saracenian, I believe is how you say that one. That doesn't have an effect on summon, but I think it does have one when it goes to grave. So we might be fusioning this away at some point. Alright, looks like we're going to activate the branded fusion next. That will dump from the deck, and we're sending that Saracenian to the grave. I might be using that to get that effect. Maybe that's why he did that in the first place. So looks like there's going to be an Albat sent from the deck to the grave. And let's see what he sends next. While he's doing that, I am going to look up that Saracenian so I know what it does.
Let me think on what to make. I'm thinking on what to make there real quick.
So if he's sent from the field to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add a Predap card from your deck to the hand, except for himself. So he could be using that there to summon, so he could send it to the grave with that, the branded fusion there, sending it off to the grave, going into, that's a dark, so you'd have to go into the Lubellion. Or no, that's going to be, yeah, the Lubellion. So he'd go into the Lubellion play if he goes into the Saracenian, or sends it to grave. He is still digging through that deck though, so it looks like he's not sending that. Alright, looks like he's still thinking about what he wants to send here. I'm not sure why he's not just sending the Saracenian from the field. Looks like he's just going to send a Biplops from the hand to the grave instead. Diffusion summon here. So that is a dark, it'll go into the Lubellion. So Lubellion effect Chainlink 1, the Chainlink 2 will be the Biplops. Biplops can add one to the hand, I believe is what that is.
To add a Predaplants card.
So he's got to discard one and then add, and then fusion summon.
His fusion's on summon. Yeah.
He does have that snow in hand, which I'm guessing is what's going to be sent. That seems like the most optimal play there.
He can use himself, correct? Yes. Yeah, I'll do 1, 2. Just feel good.
Alright, let's see what he discards off that Lubellion. Discarding the snow. So the Biplops will go off first, and that will be able to add one to hand. See which one he adds here.
Shuffle back.
Little Piranha type guy, it looks like. And then Lubellion will shuffle in. Into the Mirror Jade. So he's got a Mirror Jade on field, or Mirror Jade on field, as well as the Saracenian. And the one he added, by the way, I just realized what it was. It was the Chlamydia Sundew, I believe is what it is. But he's just going to set one face down,
Set 1, I'll just have to pass.
which I believe is actually a spell, and he's going to pass his turn there. So he has one banish effect. That's all he's got, though, unfortunately. So we'll have to see what he can put up here. I'm hoping that back row is something more than just that spell that I thought I saw in his hand in the first place.
Sure.
Alright, Easton's turn here. We're going to see a summon of the Vishuda. He did just tech that face down, so maybe it's a trap. Vishuda is going to go right into that monk. Now he has that Mirror Jade, so I am worried that you could just banish that Vishuda there and just push that Mirror Jade right back. Oh, there's the effect of the Vishuda banishing it. And he could put the Mirror Jade right back into the extra, but it looks like he is going to be returning the set face down in the back row out of the way. So he'd rather get rid of that. Smart move there. Alright, we're going to see an activation of Emergence. That's going to add a Swordsoul to the hand. Let's see which one he adds.
Yeah,
depending on what he adds, it will kind of show what he already has in his hand. Adding a Moye. So he didn't have a Moye in hand. Okay. So he either has something else that he can reveal for the Moye, or he has the long one that he can discard the Moye for the long one, depending on what he wants to go for here. Alright, next up here, activating the Heavenly Dragon Circle. That's going to tribute the Monk. And that's going to add the long one. So we didn't already have the long one in hand. Alright. So he's got a Monk and a long one now, so he can get the Monk for sure. Depending on if he has another one in hand, he can also discard for the long one. Oh, okay, we're going to see a special of an Ecclesia from hand because Steven has more monsters than him. This might be the time to Mirror Jade. But I believe that's also a quick effect for the Ecclesia. So Ecclesia will tribute itself. That'll special summon a Swordsoul or an Albaz, I believe, from deck. So we'll have to see which one he goes into here. Goes into an Albaz. Okay, so Albaz effect is kind of like a Super Poly here. So we can discard one to Super Poly away, and you could easily just take that Mirror Jade plus the Albaz and go right into another Mirror Jade, I believe. If he has that in his extra deck. So he is going to activate that Albaz, discarding our Regeki, which could have also gotten rid of the Mirror Jade. Which will force out the Mirror Jade effect to banish the Albaz, sending the Albion. So now he's got him to use his effect. So he may have baited that out, we'll have to see. We're going to see a normal summon of Moye, revealing that long one to grab a token. He's going to be synchroing up here into the awesome card that I can never pronounce. Qingzhao, however you say it, I can never pronounce it. And nobody's ever told me how to pronounce it, so I'm still here pronouncing it wrong after all these games. But we are going to see an ad of the Taya off of that, and then he's going to get to draw one off of the Moye. So now he has another one in his hand just for that long one. So there's the Taya discard for the long one. Long one will get a token. He's going to be synchroing here with that long one and the token. Now the Mirror Jade's already used its effect this turn, so he can't do anything with that. Barone on the field. Yep. And then long one's going to burn for 12 because it was used to synchro summon. Down to 68.
What's the effect that locks you into worms? Ashina?
Now Barone could pop the Mirror Jade and then negate the effect because he does have that negate still. Get that out of the way. And then that's 29, I believe, plus 3,000, so that's 59. Not enough to kill, I don't believe, but it could still be something. He is just going to activate the Barone to destroy that Saraceniant. So Saraceniant's effect is going to activate to add a Predapt, and it's going to get hit by that called by. So he's kind of just had everything this hand to kind of do with what he wants. We're going to see a Triple Tactics Talent, which is going to take the Mirror Jade. He isn't going to draw, he's just going to take that Mirror Jade. And that is going to be game with that attack right there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's duel between the Predaplant Therion deck and the Tenyi Swordsoul deck. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit the notification bell all the way through, because all your support is greatly appreciated. Stay tuned for another live duel coming up soon, guys. As always, this is Nathan from Scrub Academy, signing off for now. Peace out!